Hello everyone, today I'm going to do a new series, this time on Omega. I've done previous ones on one episode for Darth Sidious and a two-part episode in regard to Grand Admiral Thrawn. So today I'm going to do a multiple part on Omega from the Bad Batch. Created in a private laboratory of Kaminoan scientist Nala Se on the extragalactic planet Kamino in the star system of the same name, Omega was an unmodified clone with enhancements created from the genetic template of the Mandalorian bounty hunter Jango Fett. She was one of only two clones that were pure genetic copies of the original Fett template, the other being Boba Fett, or Alpha. Though Omega was unaware of this until later on in her childhood, Omega worked as a medical assistant to the Nala Se, enabling her to be present for the creation of Clone Force 99 in Se's private laboratory. Although she was present to see their mutations enhanced, the clone commandos were soon sent to be with the other clone troopers which Kaminoans had made, leaving Omega alone once more. During the Clone Wars, Clone Force 99, who took to calling themselves the Bad Batch, and the other clone troopers were sent across the galaxy to fight the Confederacy of Independent Systems. While Omega remained on Kamino, nevertheless, she remembered the name of each member of the Bad Batch, even coming to learn that they had been joined by CT-1409 Echo, a cyborg clone corporal who joined the squad after the Battle of Anaxis. However, she was never able to meet the Bad Batch throughout the course of the war. Stuck on Kamino, she did not feel like she fit in with the standard clone troopers who were stationed there. Omega finally had a chance to meet with the Bad Batch when they returned to Kamino after the conquest of Kalar, a conflict that had been suddenly ended by the execution of Order 66 and the end of the Clone Wars. During the proclamation of the new order, Omega stood by Nala Se's side and briefly made contact with the Bad Batch's leader, Hunter, only to vanish once she was distracted. Following the assembly, Omega approached the Bad Batch and introduced herself to address each other of the squad by name. When they asked what she was doing on Kamino, Nala Se appeared and explained Omega's position was her medical assistant, in a tendency to wander before leading her away. Determined to grow closer to the Bad Batch, Omega sat with them in the mess hall, which Tech noted was something that had never happened before. Unaware of her true nature as a clone, Hunter asked where her parents were. Omega barely had time to respond when another clone trooper made a passing remark, taunting the group by referring to them as the Sad Batch. Taking offense, Omega threw food at the clone and demanded he apologize. Hunter tried to de-escalate the situation, but Wrecker threw an entire tray of food at the clone trooper and started a brawl. Omega later tried to claim responsibility for the incident when the Bad Batch were called in for punishment, but Hunter refused, giving her a warning to stay away from their squad to avoid getting herself in trouble. Omega later stood by Nala Se's side as she and Prime Minister Lama Su attempted to convince the Admiral Tarkin to consider the Bad Batch as an asset to the new Galactic Empire. However, Tarkin was more concerned about the squad's tendencies to disregard orders, especially since they had failed to comply with Order 66. Though she failed to comprehend most of what she overheard, Omega got the impression that Tarkin did not trust clones. She tried to warn Hunter as the Bad Batch was about to depart on a mission to Onderon, but he dismissed her concerns. Nonetheless, she insisted on joining them, suspecting that it was no longer safe on Kamino, but Hunter calmly replied that change took time to getting used to before departing with his squad. Later, Omega and her droid companion AZ-3 entered the squad's barracks. Omega looked around in awe of their gear, especially their group photograph, but was eventually discovered by a force of clone shock troopers that had come to confiscate the squad's gear. She was incarcerated and held in a newly constructed holding cell along with the Bad Batch, who were imprisoned following their refusal to act on Admiral Tarkin's orders to take out Saw Gerrera's rebel cell on Onderon. Omega was instrumental in the group's escape, sneaking out to deactivate the ray shield after Wrecker damaged a wall panel to allow her to sneak out. The troopers eventually noticed that she was missing from the cell, but she then dropped down onto them from the ceiling, recovering quickly to deactivate the ray shield and free her new companions. As the group planned their next move, she told Hunter that their gear was likely in the hangar. After the Force geared up one of their own, Crosshair, who had been just outfitted with a new armor and had his inhibitor chip effects magnified, came to stop his former companions from leaving. After a fight that involved Omega using a blaster for the first time and shooting Crosshair's weapons, the group escaped on the Bad Batch's ship, the Marauder. As the group discussed their next move, Omega gave Wrecker his Toka doll Lula, as she had rescued during the battle, which greatly pleased him. She then made her way to the cockpit to look out at space for the first time. Eventually, the others moved to the cockpit as well, where Hunter let her sit, telling her to strap in as they made the jump to hyperspace in order to travel to the Sulefric system. Omega's escape proved problematic for the Kaminoans, who desired access to her unaltered genetic template. Well, that's it for part 1. Please like and subscribe to my channel, and until the next time, may the Force be with you.